Hello friends, today we will discuss sympathomimetics or adrenergic drugs. What are sympathomimetics? These are the agents which mimic the actions of endogenous catecholamines. What are catecholamines? We will see later on. Based on the mode of action, sympathomimetics can be divided into three groups. Number one, directly acting. These are agonist on pre and or postsynaptic alpha and beta adrenergic receptors. On repeated doses, there is no tachyphylaxis. What is that? We will see in the category of indirectly acting sympathomimetics. Examples of directly acting sympathomimetics are adrenaline, noradrenaline, isoprenaline, phenylephrine, methoxamine, xylometazoline, salbutamol, and so on. Indirectly acting sympathomimetics. These are taken up by neuronal membrane, that is known as uptake 1 mechanism. There is displacement of norepinephrine from its stores. This displaced or released norepinephrine activates adrenergic receptors. On repeated dosing, there is phenomena of tachyphylaxis. What is that? It refers to rapid development of tolerance when doses of a drug repeated in quick succession result in marked reduction in response. In case of indirectly acting sympathomimetics, tachyphylaxis develops because of neuronal norepinephrine stores get depleted. These agents are more lipid soluble and crosses blood-brain barrier and better absorbed through GIT. Examples like amphetamine and tyramine. Third category is mixed action. That means direct as well as indirect. Indirectly acting through displacement or release of norepinephrine of its stores, that is the major mode of actions of this group, and direct action on alpha and beta adrenergic receptors like norepinephrine and epinephrine. Examples like ephedrine, mephentermine. Let us see the classification of sympathomimetics. As I told you earlier, it can be divided into three groups, that is directly acting sympathomimetics, indirectly acting sympathomimetics, and mixed action sympathomimetics. Under the category of directly acting sympathomimetics can be divided into two groups, catecholamines and non-catecholamines. Catecholamines endogenous like adrenaline, synthetic like isoprenaline, and in case of non-catecholamines, alpha 1 selective agonist like phenylephrine, alpha 2 selective agonist like clonidine, beta 1 selective agonist like dobutamine, beta 2 selective agonist like salbutamol, and beta 3 selective agonist like BRL 37344. In the category of indirectly acting sympathomimetics, tyramine, amphetamine like drugs, and mixed action sympathomimetics like ephedrine and mephentermine. So what are catecholamines? Catecholamines are compounds containing a catechol nucleus and an amine containing side chain. And compounds which lacks catechol nucleus are non-catecholamines. Let us start with endogenous catecholamines. Endogenous catecholamines are sympathomimetic amines, contain two adjacent hydroxyl groups in benzene nucleus, as we have seen in the previous slide. Common characteristics of endogenous catecholamines are: number one, they are highly potent, act on alpha and beta adrenergic receptors. Number two, because of the rapid inactivation, they have very short plasma half-life and therefore they have to be administered by intravenous infusion to maintain steady state concentration. They are orally inactive because they are destroyed by catechol O-methyltransferase enzyme in gastrointestinal tract and by monoamine oxidase enzyme in liver and gut wall. Poor penetration in the CNS. Although high dose lead to anxiety, tremor, headache, and these actions probably increased dopamine mediated process. Under endogenous catecholamines category, let us start with adrenaline, or also known as epinephrine. Adrenaline secreted from adrenal medulla, content is 80 to 90%. It is non-selective alpha and beta adrenoceptors agonist. Relative receptor affinity equal alpha 1 and alpha 2 subtypes and equal beta 1 and beta 2 subtypes. At low doses, prominent effect on beta receptors as compared to alpha adrenergic receptors. Alpha effects are strongest at the high dose, it also having beta 3 agonist activity. Let us see actions of adrenaline on cardiovascular system. Heart. Adrenaline increases heart rate and force of contraction that is mediated through beta 1 receptors, followed by reflex bradycardia, that is because of the compensatory vagal discharge as a result of rise in blood pressure. Stroke volume increases that lead to increase in cardiac output and therefore rise in systolic blood pressure. Because of the force of contraction is increased, myocardium is susceptible to arrhythmias. Vascular effects or effects on blood vessels. Constriction of arterioles in skin, mucous membrane, viscera and renal beds, that is mediated through alpha receptors. Dilatation of predominantly in skeletal muscle, liver and coronary arteries, that is mediated through beta 2 receptors. Total peripheral resistance decreases because, as I told you earlier, beta 2 receptors are more sensitive than alpha receptors. So overall cumulative effect is increase in systolic blood pressure and decrease in diastolic blood pressure. Effect of adrenaline on blood pressure. At the moderate dose level, adrenaline exhibit biphasic response. That means initially increase in blood pressure, and that is mediated through alpha 1 and beta 1 receptors. Alpha 1 receptors lead to vasoconstriction and beta 1 receptors in heart lead to increase in heart rate and increase in force of contraction. Later on, when there is decrease in plasma concentration of adrenaline, beta 2 effects get unmasked and results in mean blood pressure falls. And this fall is more prominent if it is pre-treated with alpha blockers. And that phenomena is known as Dell's vasomotor reversal. And there is increase in blood pressure if it is pre-treated with beta blockers, and that is the Dell's vasomotor re-reversal. Effects on smooth muscles. Adrenaline affects various smooth muscles like respiration, GIT, urinary tract and uterus. Very important effect on bronchial smooth muscles. Adrenaline is a powerful bronchodilator and this effect is mediated through beta 2 receptors which are predominantly situated in bronchial smooth muscles. Stimulation of beta 2 receptors lead to bronchodilation and therefore adrenaline may be useful in treatment of bronchial asthma. Metabolic effects of adrenaline, it lead to hyperglycemia, that means increased glucose level. That is because of increased glycogenolysis in liver and skeletal muscles and that is mediated through beta 2 receptors. It lead to increase in free fatty acid due to lipolysis and that is mediated through beta 3 receptors. Inhibition of insulin release that is mediated through alpha 2 receptors. Calorogenic effects, rise in basal metabolic rate and cardiovascular system effects, rise in body temperature, all mediated through beta 3 receptors. Miscellaneous effects of adrenaline, mydriasis, that is dilatation of pupil, piloerection and sweating of palms and soles, CNS effects like anxiety tremors, Another important effect of adrenaline is inhibition of histamine release through mast cell. So what are the therapeutic uses of adrenaline? Number one, very important use in anaphylactic shock. Adrenaline is the drug of choice in type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. It relieves bronchospasm, angioneurotic edema of larynx, prevents release of histamine, and maintains blood pressure. Usually, intramuscular injection of adrenaline in the dose of 0.3 to 0.5 ml of 1:1000 solution is preferred. Second is bronchial asthma. As I told you earlier, it is a potent bronchodilator. So it leads to bronchodilation and decongestion of bronchial mucosa. Third is cardiac resuscitation. In case of sudden cardiac arrest that happens in case of drowning or electrocution, intracardiac injection of adrenaline is preferred. To prolong the duration of local anesthetic action. Vasoconstricting effect antagonizes vasodilating effect of local anesthetic like lignocaine. It also retards systemic absorption of local anesthetic and therefore it increases the duration of action of local anesthetic as well as decrease the systemic toxicity. Another use is to control epistaxis as local hemostatic. Adverse effects of adrenaline. As we have seen earlier, adrenaline lead to increase in blood pressure and therefore it may lead to cerebral hemorrhage. Increase in cardiac work and contractility lead to coronary insufficiency and may precipitate angina, arrhythmias, palpitation, etc. CNS lead to anxiety, tremor, headache, etc. Important contraindications and some drug interactions with adrenaline. Hypothyroidism, because there is upregulation of alpha receptors in vasculature and beta receptors in heart. As we have seen in the previous slide, it may precipitate angina and hypertension. Interactions with tricyclic antidepressants, because they prevent reuptake of adrenaline and therefore they increase the availability of adrenaline and therefore lead to various side effects. Halothane lead to cardiac arrhythmia, and if we combine halothane and adrenaline, there is increased risk of cardiac arrhythmia. So this is the pharmacology of adrenaline. Let us now discuss noradrenaline or norepinephrine and how it differs from adrenaline. Noradrenaline liberated from postganglionic sympathetic nerve endings and it constitutes 97% of secretions of adrenal medulla. Later on we will discuss the condition pheochromocytoma. Noradrenaline is predominantly alpha agonist and relative receptor affinity for adrenergic receptors like equal alpha 1 and alpha 2 receptors, which is greater than beta 1 receptor activity but no beta 2 activity, and that is the important difference between adrenaline and noradrenaline. It also having beta 3 agonist action. How noradrenaline differs from adrenaline? Cardiovascular system. Noradrenaline increase both systolic and diastolic blood pressure mainly due to cardiac stimulation that is mediated through beta 1 receptors and increase in total peripheral resistance that is mediated through alpha 1 receptors, and because of this thing there is reflex bradycardia. It doesn't exhibit del vasomotor reversal because no action on beta 2 receptors. Other sympathomimetic actions are minimal and clinically unimportant. Therapeutic uses of noradrenaline. Cardiogenic shock. that is hypotensive state as a result of surgical shock or myocardial infarction, but there is associated risk of renal shutdown. Also, it is not suitable for intramuscular, subcutaneous or undiluted direct intravenous injection because it is a powerful vasoconstrictor and therefore lead to necrosis. So, it is used rarely as pressure agents. Adverse effects, precautions and contraindications are similar to adrenaline. Another endogenous catecholamine is dopamine. Dopamine is an immediate precursor of noradrenaline and adrenaline. In addition to that, it is a neurotransmitter in central nervous system. It acts on dopaminergic, that is D1 and D2 receptors, as well as adrenergic receptors on alpha and beta 1 but not on beta 2 receptors. D1 receptors are predominantly situated in renal and mesenteric blood vessels and these are more sensitive to dopamine. Later on we will see dose dependent action of dopamine. How dopamine differs from adrenaline and noradrenaline? At the low dose, that is 2 to 5 microgram per kilogram per minute intravenous infusion, there is stimulation of D1 receptors and therefore dilatation of renal blood vessels that lead to increased GFR, increased renal blood flow and excretion of sodium. At the moderate dose level, that is 5 to 10 microgram per kilogram per minute intravenous infusion, it stimulates beta 1 receptors and therefore lead to increased cardiac output, but total peripheral resistance and mean blood pressure remains unchanged. At the high dose level, that is more than 10 microgram per kilogram per minute intravenous infusion, vasoconstriction effects appears because of alpha 1 stimulation and that lead to nullifying low dose effect of dopamine. So what are the therapeutic uses of dopamine? Conditions of low cardiac output with compromised renal functions, that is cardiogenic shock resulting from MI, trauma or surgery, also of congestive heart failure, renal or liver failure. Main advantage of using dopamine in such condition is increased cardiac output with renal vasodilatation. Adverse effects of dopamine: nausea, vomiting, tachycardia, ectopic beats, hypertension but in very high dose, and cardiac arrhythmias. After discussion of endogenous catecholamines, let us see synthetic catecholamines. Isoprenaline. Isoprenaline predominantly acts on beta 1 and beta 2 receptors and negligible alpha receptor activity. So you can see affinity equal beta 1 beta 2 as compared to alpha 2 receptors. How isoprenaline differs from adrenaline and noradrenaline? Isoprenaline having positive ionotropic and chronotropic effect and that lead to increased cardiac output. Dilatation of arterioles of skeletal muscles and that is mediated through beta 2 receptors and that lead to decrease in peripheral resistance. So slight increase in systolic blood pressure, that is because of beta 1 stimulation, and later on decrease in diastolic blood pressure because of beta 2 receptor stimulation. Effects of isoprenaline on smooth muscles. It lead to relaxation of bronchial and GI smooth muscles, relieves bronchoconstriction, that is mainly because of beta 2 stimulation and inhibition of histamine release. Therefore, it was previously used in the treatment of bronchial asthma. Therapeutic uses: rarely used in case of bradycardia or heart block. Adverse effects: because of the cardiac stimulation, it lead to palpitation and tachycardia. In this figure, you can see comparative cardiovascular effects of adrenaline, noradrenaline, and isoprenaline. Parameters like blood pressure, heart rate, and peripheral resistance. Dobutamine. Dobutamine is not D1 or D2 receptor agonist like dopamine. It acts on alpha and beta receptors and therefore lead to increased force of contraction and cardiac output, but without significant change in heart rate, peripheral resistance, and blood pressure. It is relatively selective beta 1 agonist and it is used as an inotropic agent in pump failure due to MI, cardiac surgery, and short-term management of severe congestive heart failure. It is less arrhythmogenic than adrenaline. Phenoldopam. Phenoldopam is a selective D1 receptor agonist and no agonistic activity at alpha or beta receptors. It is a peripheral arteriolar dilator and therefore lead to vasodilatation in coronary, renal, and mesenteric arteries. It is used for short-term management of severe hypertension, particularly when renal functions are compromised. It leads to reflex tachycardia, increased intraocular pressure, and headache. Up to now, we have discussed catecholamines, endogenous as well as synthetic. Now we will discuss non-catecholamines. As we have discussed earlier, non-catecholamines lacks catechol nucleus in their chemical nature. Let us discuss non-catecholamines. First, alpha-1 selective agonist. Example is phenylephrine. Phenylephrine is alpha-1 selective agonist. It lacks hydroxyl group at 4 position on benzene ring of adrenaline. Non-catecholamine not metabolized by catechol or methyltransferase and therefore having longer duration of action. They lead to activation of alpha-1 receptors and hence they lead to increase in peripheral resistance and blood pressure. And because of increase in blood pressure, it lead to reflex bradycardia. It is mainly used as nasal decongestant and as mediatic. Methoxamine, that is another alpha-1 selective agonist and no beta action. It is similar to phenylephrine, rarely used as pressure agent. Nefazolin, oxymetazoline, xylometazoline, these are used as nasal decongestant in rhinorrhea, also for epistaxis because of its vasoconstrictor property. They are predominantly alpha-1 agonist but relatively selective alpha-2 agonists also. Pseudoephedrine, phenylpropanolamine. These are other sympathomimetic non-catecholamines and most commonly used in common cold oral formulations. Phenylpropanolamine lead to increased risk of hemorrhagic stroke and therefore it is withdrawn including India. Alpha-2 selective agonists. Alpha-2 receptors are situated presynaptically at sympathetic postganglionic neuron while postsynaptically in blood vessels and brain. Stimulation of alpha-2 receptors by norepinephrine or alpha-2 agonist lead to decrease further release of noradrenaline. And in brain, it lead to decreased central sympathetic outflow and therefore alpha-2 selective agonists are primarily used for treatment of hypertension. Many blood vessels contains postsynaptic alpha-2 receptors and therefore antihypertensive drug like clonidine initially increase blood pressure and then more prolonged fall in blood pressure. In essential hypertension, clonidine achieves nearly 100% oral bioavailability. It is available in transdermal patches also that provides effect approximately for 1 week, but abrupt withdrawal of clonidine lead to rebound hypertension. Apraclonidine and brimonidine, these are selective alpha-2 agonists used in treatment of glaucoma. They act by reducing formation of aqueous humor that is mediated through alpha-2 agonistic action on ciliary epithelium. They are potent ocular hypotensives. They do not cross blood-brain barrier and they are used to prevent acute rise in intraocular pressure after laser trabeculoplasty. Let us see beta 1 selective agonist under the category of non-catecholamines. Example is prenalterol. It is not clinically important. It is more ionotropic and little chronotropic action. Beta 2 selective agonists. These drugs having preferential affinity for beta 2 receptors as compared to beta 1 receptors. Although at higher concentration, there is loss of selectivity. Structural modifications in the chemical moiety lead to reduced rates of metabolism as well as increased oral bioavailability. In the aerosol form, that means through inhalational route, there is effective activation of beta 2 receptors and less potential to activate either beta 1 receptors or beta 2 receptors in skeletal muscles. That means more selectivity in the respiratory tract. Salbutamol is very important agent in the category of selective beta 2 agonist. It is highly selective for beta 2 receptor with relaxant effects on bronchial and uterus smooth muscles. Having minimal cardiac stimulant effects and therefore safer than isoprenaline in the treatment of bronchial asthma. It is non-catecholamine, not metabolized by catechol or methyltransferase enzyme and therefore having longer duration of action. By inhalational route, it is given by meter dose inhaler, which provides 100 microgram salbutamol per puff. It also given by oral, intramuscular and intravenous route. It is also used for arrest of premature labor because of its relaxant effect on uterus. Other agents like isosuprine and ritrodrine, which having more selective beta 2 action on uterus and therefore are used as tocolytic agents. That means relaxation effect on uterus. Beta 3 agonist. Beta 3 receptors situated in adipose tissue and polymorphism in beta 3 receptor gene responsible for obesity and therefore beta 3 receptor agonists are the potential target for treatment of obesity. Now let us see indirectly acting sympathomimetics. One such agent is tyramine. It is not used clinically, but it is known for its food drug interactions because it is found in cheese, beef, wine, beer, banana, yeast, and yogurt. It is normally metabolized by monoamine oxidase enzyme in liver and GIT. Patients who are taking monoamine oxidase inhibitors having serious vasopressor episodes of hypertensive crisis. Another indirectly acting sympathomimetic is amphetamine. It is a powerful CNS stimulant and having peripheral alpha and beta adrenergic effects. Actions of amphetamine on central nervous system. It stimulates medullary respiratory center. It reduces degree of CNS depression by other drugs. So lead to wakefulness, alertness, decreased sense of fatigue, and need for sleep may be postponed. It also lead to improvement in simple mental tasks, but number of errors increase due to overconfidence. Improvement in physical performance in athletes, and therefore it is misused by athletes and therefore included in DOP test. Cardiovascular effects of amphetamine. It increases both systolic as well as diastolic blood pressure, and it lead to arrhythmias in large doses. Effects on smooth muscles. Constriction of urinary bladder sphincter and therefore lead to difficulty in micturition. Other effects, suppression of appetite by reducing lateral hypothalamic feeding center, but rapid tolerance occurs to this effect and therefore it is not used as an anti-obesity drug. Adverse effects of amphetamine: restlessness, tremors, irritability, insomnia, euphoria, hallucinations, sweating, psychosis. Such effects appears. Others like palpitation, headache, cardiac arrhythmias, metallic taste, anorexia, and difficulty in micturition. Another important problem associated with the use of amphetamine is dependence and tolerance. Psychological dependence after prolonged use and tolerance to appetite effect, but not for narcolepsy. Treatment of overdose toxicity occurs with amphetamine. Acidification of urine with ammonium chloride or ascorbic acid. This leads to increased ionization and prevents its reabsorption from the renal tubule and therefore increase elimination from the body. And diazepam to control CNS symptoms. Therapeutic uses of amphetamine: narcolepsy, that is deep sleep in daytime. Small dose improves narcolepsy and prevents attacks of daytime sleep. Attention deficit hyperkinetic disorder found in children. Impulsiveness, impaired interpersonal relationship, excitability, and difficulty in sustaining attention, resulting in loss in academic achievements. And amphetamine is used in ADHD. Weight reduction as an anorexic agent, but rapid development of tolerance to this effect. Methamphetamine, it is closely chemically related to amphetamine, having predominantly central stimulant effects without significant peripheral actions, but having high potential for abuse. Now, sympathomimetics having mixed action, that means direct as well as indirect action. One such agent is ephedrine. It is direct agonist action on both alpha and beta receptors, and it also increases release of norepinephrine from sympathetic neuron. It is not destroyed by monoamine oxidase and catechol or methyl transferase and therefore having longer duration of action than adrenaline or noradrenaline. It can crosses blood-brain barrier and powerful CNS stimulant action. It also increases heart rate, cardiac output, and blood pressure, and stimulation of beta 2 receptors in lungs lead to bronchodilation. Alpha 1 receptor stimulation lead to mydriasis but no cycloplegia. Uses of ephedrine: it is used to raise blood pressure, that means to treat hypotension due to spinal anesthesia, and in case of mild asthma, but it is less preferred because very selective drugs like beta 2 selective agonist, salbutamol, and others are available. Adverse effects of ephedrine: hypertension, insomnia, tachycardia, that is because of sympathetic stimulation, and repeated doses at the short intervals lead to tachyphylaxis. Pseudoephedrine: it is the stereoisomer of ephedrine and it is used as nasal decongestant. Mephentermine, also mixed action sympathomimetic agent, Pharmacological profile of mephentermine is similar to ephedrine. Its use in clinical situation is restricted to maintain blood pressure in hypotensive states. Example following spinal anesthesia. Some important adverse drug reactions of mephentermine are CNS stimulation, hallucinations, and convulsion with very high dose. So this is all about sympathomimetic or adrenergic drugs. Thank you very much.